There is a huge exchange of ideas between video games and cinema. Films often get inspiration from certain game-like elements, and games have come to use Hollywood-style production and storytelling to try and achieve the same emotional impact that only film could. But as filmmaking went through a creative comm patch, video games were growing up. This new maturity comes from teams like this one. We are in Montreal in the studios of Ubisoft, where around 100 people have been working on Prince of Persia, Warrior Within for over a year now. For the sequel to Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, Ubisoft Montreal has chosen a darker, even more cinematic approach.
We wanted to focus on the main character, the prince. Why and how he has changed. He's very different from the prince we met in the Sands of Time. The head animator of Belleville Rendezvous, Hugh Martel, helped us out. Starting with the storyboards, Hugh and I worked on sketching the environments, and together with Raphael Lacoste, the artistic director, we decided to hire actors to film live-action sequences. We rented a studio with friends from the Two Worlds Theater. It's not really a proper studio, but there was enough space to work in. Obviously, 2 days of filming is really short. It was all organized at the last minute. I called some actor friends from the theater, and there were 2 cameramen with mini DV cams. We put them on roller skates to get the traveling shots done quicker. We only had 2 days to get 15 minutes of footage finished. There was no lighting, no crew. We took the camera and decided the shots on the spot, keeping our drawings in mind as a guideline, but there were just the actors on stage. No scenery, just a few costumes and basic props. A wooden sword, a cape. It helped us keep the speed up, get the shots quickly with the actor, and keep a certain spontaneity. That's what I really wanted. So when the animation team started working on the project, they had visual inspiration for the movements and emotions they had to represent. The direction of the project came from those videos. They became our reference videos. Filming live takes a few seconds, but doing the same thing in animation can take weeks. So when you tell an animator, that's not bad, but I don't think the character has the emotion I was looking for, it's not because he's doing a bad job.
Although a computer is an excellent way of doing calculations, it's not the animator's fault that a simple camcorder can often be more helpful when experimenting with ideas. The cutscenes in Prince of Persia, Warrior Within, have a very cinematic feel to them. Hardly surprising, you might say, as they're called cinematic scenes. But even the sound effects have been approached in the same way, created as a Foley track, meaning live and not with a computer.
For the sound effects, we were looking for more visceral sounds, like bones cracking or guts exploding. It's a lot bloodier. When the prince slashes through his enemies, you really have to hear it. We had a specialist come in for all the cracking sounds, the sword slashes, the blood spurting, all that was done in Foley. He brought his own kit, like dry pasta for breaking bones. For the sound of slicing enemies into a million pieces, we had oranges, grapefruits, and cabbages to cut. We used all sorts of stuff like that for those sounds. It made them more sharp, more real.
So, as we're talking about cinema, let's get to the bottom of it. Give us some names.
There aren't hundreds of influences for Prince of Persia Warrior Within, but they are all carefully thought through, carefully selected and used. I think that the team's basic ideas came from swashbuckling films or Hong Kong movies with lots of action, and the hero using his environment in amazing ways. In Hong Kong movies, they are always bouncing back from a wall, grabbing a baton, and decapitating the guy opposite. From very early on, there was a desire to extend the swashbuckling feel to other parts of the game, such as the conversations between the prince and the enemies, with them taunting each other and stuff like that, a bit like in the films.